July 12th. Victory! White Mantle defeated by Morrow. The White Mantle, the regime that has ruled Kryta since the Char invasion, has been defeated. The combined forces of the Shining Blade and Lion Guard, with the aid of foreign volunteers, incredible Asuran technology, and the Even Vanguard, have finally broken the might of the religious cult in what will undoubtedly be referred to as the Battle of Lion's Arch. This is a glorious day for Krytans and for freedom, declared a bloodied Livia, the highest ranking survivor of the Shining Blade, to the wary freedom fighters who gathered around her in the aftermath of battle. All our suffering, all our pain, it's all been for today. Through her representatives, Princess Salma has extended her congratulations and gratitude to all Krytans and our loyal friends for their great efforts in reclaiming Kryta. Salma will make a public proclamation in several days. Those who know of such things are certain she will be declared sovereign ruler of Kryta. Now, healers tend to the wounded, soldiers bury their comrades, and many former rebels return to their farms and settlements. The war is over. Right, so we load into Lion's Arch. It looks just the same as Lion's Arch for everything else, except it's back in day and all the spawns have changed. And we get Queen Salma saying, she says, "People of Kryta, I stand before you at both the dawn of a new age of prosperity and a return to the traditions of our ancestors. Our enemies have been dismantled, and for all our years of suffering and oppression are finally over." Two things there I want to quickly say before she continues with her speech. One, the traditions of our ancestors. I wonder if she's talking about like ancient Elonian things, because obviously they were a long time ago an Elonian colony. And also the other thing, she says dismantled there. Back during the viral campaign before the War in Kryta came out, there was this huge thing about dismantle. It was this quote that kept coming up from the Shining Blade, and it was really cool. Right at the end, actually in game, they reference it by saying dismantled, which is really cool. I like. So she continues, "It will take continued vigilance and courage to restore peace to the whole of Kryta, but we shall face our challenges as a united people. Many have fought and bled and sacrificed so that we may see this day. We thank the Lion Guard for their unwavering support of the people of Kryta. They shall continue under the command of First Watch Sergio in service to the city of Lion's Arch." So that's what happens with the Lion Guard. Very cool. They stay with Lion's Arch. That's why they're not really affiliated with Kryta come Guild Wars 2, because Lion's Arch itself isn't. She says, "We thank the Shining Blade. They have been our truest companions and have proved themselves to be the true defenders of Kryta." And what happens here with the Shining Blade is quite interesting, what she decides to do with them. If you've been watching the Dungeon series, you'll know what happens with them. "Guided now by our loyal servant Livia, the Shining Blade will continue to serve Kryta not as a rebel group, nor as a militia, nor even as an army, but shall henceforth serve as the royal guard for all kings and queens of Kryta." So that's their new position. They're the elite of the elite. They're the personal bodyguards and protectors of the kings and queens. They're the spies. That's their position in Guild Wars 2. Again, in the Dungeon series, we go into quite a bit of detail about that. And Queen Salma says, "Most of all, we thank the people of Kryta, who have endured so much with such great dignity. Across all of Tyria, free people sing the praises of the common Krytan, and I join them in their chorus." So the question is, why is Livia now leading the Shining Blade when Bartholos was leading the Shining Blade? Well, we're about to see. "This conflict has been a difficult one," she says, "pitting brother against brother and neighbour against neighbour." So they do go a little bit into what I was talking about, I suppose. "Not all who fought against us were motivated by evil, for some were deceived by the lies or cowed by the threats of the White Mantle." Yeah, very interesting. Also, another thing she says up here about sacrifices. Everyone you saw die in that battle, by the way, that's not actually canon. They do really survive. It's mostly nameless individuals that I suppose died during the war. Salma says, "In the spirit of the new reborn Kryta, it is time to put these dark days behind us. Now is the time for rebuilding, not retribution. Now is the time for forgiveness, not vengeance. Let us all face this new era together, without hate in our hearts. In that spirit, we hereby announce the formation of a new army for the defense of the whole of Kryta and for all humans who call Kryta their home." Do you guys know what army this is? Again, talked about in the Dungeon series. Actually, those human episodes really tie in quite nicely here. But yeah, we get to see the formation of the Seraph, honouring the winged goddess who protected us in our final battle against the fiends who had usurped our kingdom. This new group will be called the Seraph, and the valiant Bartholos shall be their commander. So that's what Bartholos is doing. I think it's kind of cool that they do this. Oh, the winged goddess who protected us. Dwayna, kind of attributing Dwayna to have protected them, because really what they fought for here is to keep worshipping the old gods who have really left, and that's a bit of propaganda there, I would say, going through straight away, kind of attributing this victory to Dwayna, who really didn't do anything. I think that's quite cool. It does show kind of another side to this whole, to what Queen Salma stands for, you know, it's pretty cool. In this new army, common citizens and former members of the White Mantle and Shining Blade will serve side by side. You will know the Seraph by the wings that adorn their helms and shields, and by their resolute defence of our land. They shall be the protectors of Kryta. Which is really cool. This was this was ArenaNet's way of explaining why the Seraph had these wings on them constantly, which we'd been seeing in concept art and footage of Guild Wars 2. This was kind of how they showed us that lore, which I think is really, really cool. Know this, my countrymen, never again will we stand by while another Krytan suffers. Never again shall we allow inhuman evil to fester and grow amongst us. Never again will Krytans turn their back on their heritage and their gods. Let a new age dawn, an age of justice and peace for all Krytans. I think that's the end of her speech, and then she does a roar up there. Very cool. I mean, I loved this. I remember when I first did this, so cool. And then everybody roars. Let's roar as well. Come on, a little bit of RP going on there. And it's awesome, and everybody moves about on their way. Very, very cool. So there you go. That's her speech. That's basically how the Seraph forms. And what's basically going on with Kryta from here on out. I really like it. There is a lot to do here in this end place. My throat's getting sore. I've been talking for 51 minutes. I don't know how many episodes is going to come out of this. But we get a lot of interesting things to talk about, okay? One in particular to do with the loose ends that are going on here. I don't want to speak to Salma yet because there's some dialogue we can see. First we'll speak to Arid, I guess, who says the battle is won and we can finally begin rebuilding Kryta anew. Many brave Krytans gave their souls to see this day come to fruition. We must bring honour to their memory. Okay, so we've got him. We've got a guy called Graham, the commemorative weapons guy. Okay, and Master Scout Braden here has become an intelligence collector. These NPCs will become available in the Lion's Arch Keep now that you have finished this quest. Other things that happen once you finish this quest: Kryta has now returned to what it was before the war in Kryta began, so all those spawns have disappeared, which essentially means you're cut off from earning those greens and all those interesting rewards that became available through the war in Kryta. But that doesn't mean you'll never be able to get those greens. What's quite cool is you can still get the bounties from the keep, and while you have a bounty active to take out one of these White Mantle things, it actually shifts all the explorable areas back over to their War in Kryta version, so you can continue to try and get these things. You can continue to find Courier Falcon, I believe. You can continue to do that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So it's a nice little way of saying, hey, everything's over, all the spawns have gone back to the way they were, but you can also still go back and experience things if you want to. You can still experience the War in Kryta despite the fact you finished it. This idea of the spawns changing, they kind of dabbled with in the War in Kryta. They really expand on that concept when we get to the Winds of Change. They really do, and they do some cool stuff there. So we'll see that as we go forward. What else have we got? We've got Medal of Honor guys, Royal Gift guys, you know, we know what they'll speak about. Actually, do they have different dialogue now? Oh yeah, they do. Even though the final battle's been won, there's still a lot of rebuilding to do. In order to do that, I'm collecting any supplies that are left over from the war. It may not seem like much, but a few donations can go a long way to helping restore this country. If you happen to have some extras, I still have some Medals of Honor to give. Okay, I will be doing a separate episode explaining one big loose end and all of the rewards at the same time, okay? So we'll look at that soon enough. Our Lady has authorised a special royal gift for those... well, why don't we read that on that episode? Yeah, never mind. So we'll speak to those guys on that episode. What else have we got? We've got Maggie over here. You right, Maggie? Anything else interesting to say? He says, the Queen's requested I continue to serve as her advisor during this time of reconstruction. I'm happy to oblige. Back in my day, Kryta was a place you were proud to call home, and I am eager to aid in the restoration of her former glory. Thank you, brave mortal, for your continued service to my beloved homeland. This is the other cool thing. This is another reason why I think he could appear in Guild Wars 2. He's a royal advisor. Maybe he just retains that position. You know, Queen Salma grows old, dies, he's still there. You know, that'll be so cool. What if he is one of the royal advisors to Queen Jenna come Guild Wars 2? How cool is that? Also, did I mention this? Actually, one of the whole districts in Divinity's Reach is named the Salma district. Is named after what she did here, what she did this day, ending the Kryta's years of repression, and that's your home district, the Salma district. So she will be remembered, Salma. Okay, so we've got Livia here, right? Okay, Livia I'm not going to speak to because Livia had something interesting to say. She's had a promotion. She's got something interesting to say, though, about something the more astute of you might remember happened in War in Kryta that is a loose end, which I'm going to be talking about next episode, okay? So I'm not going to speak to her here. We'll be seeing what her dialogue is actually tomorrow, okay? As we open up the next video, okay? So we'll ignore her for a second. We've got Bartholos. who says, "This is a day that shall go down in history. While the Shining Blade played a crucial role in this most righteous of victories, I fear the years of White Mantle propaganda citing us as murderers and villains will never allow the Krytan people to embrace our organisation as a legitimate authority. Therefore, with a heavy heart, I must relinquish leadership of the Shining Blade to Livia, effective immediately, so I may form a new Krytan army, sworn to protect the Queen and country. We shall be known as the Seraph." So that's why the Shining Blade takes sort of a more backseat role. Obviously, the Queens, the leadership in Kryta know that they're a legitimate organisation and they care about Kryta, but the common people maybe don't. So that's why they kind of take a back seat, and they're sort of more work from the shadows, while a new organisation, the Seraph, becomes the army, becomes the police, which I think is really cool. So that's why that happens. You've got Councillor Vela here as well. He says, "We swore to bring down the White Mantle, and together that is what we've done on this day. I will serve as Queen Salma to aid her in the challenges that face us in the years to come." Okay, so we've got that. Let's continue on. We've also got over here two people now. A bit of dialogue should trigger soon, actually. Well, we got the henchman over there. We'll speak to in a second. So we've got oppressor weapon collectors. We'll be talking to those next episode. We've got Etham here, who says, "I suppose it's time to rebuild our lives now. I don't know how I'll do it without my Nora, but I must. Our daughter is depending on me." Elder Sobel says there's still a lot of rebuilding to do and bodies to bury, but I think we're going to make it. Orion, we've got all the henchmen here. Do the henchmen actually have a conversation? A legit one? Or do they just sort of have little bubbles that appear above their heads? I'm not sure. They say, "This is the start of a new era. Make sure you take in the atmosphere. This isn't something we see very often." A lot of these guys have got very similar dialogue, so I do apologise if this gets a little bit monotonous. That Vanguard Mesmer is quite captivating. I would wonder if she'd like to go out for some shark fin soup. You can actually get shark fin soup in game. That's quite cool. Yeah, that was quite the battle, was it not? And thus Grenth's justice has been done. Stefan says, "That Diane fellow sure does know his beer. He was telling me about mixing dwarven ale and prismatic ooze, but he got pulled away." Wait, the ooze is like massively explosive. He got pulled away before he could finish his story. I bet that would give it quite the kick. Yes, it would. Sorry, I just need to catch my breath. It was exhausting trying to heal against their spectral agony. I'm sure it was. You got Orion here. Once again, this day is saved thanks to the great Orion. No need to thank me. It's just what I do. I love how you can speak to these guys. This is lore. Like, they actually had established storylines and personalities in prophecies. They genuinely did. And finally, all this time later, ArenaNet do pay respect to those storylines, and you know, they keep the boastful ones boastful and stuff like that. That's just so cool. So we got some brothers up here. Lawmaster Emerald, Brother Mizar, Brothers Theopolius, and Brother Bilshan. And they say, "Don't let the victory fool you. The end is still near. Humanity is doomed. Doomed, I say." I'm sure it is. Time and tide turn, and the cycle begins anew. The six gods smile upon you this day, Peter Redhill. Now we must begin the slow process of renewing the faith of the Krytan people in the six true gods, their new queen, and their faith in each other. Emerald says, "How can victory really be victory when there is no defeat?" Yeah, you know, you might think, well, what's he talking about there? He's talking about the fact that the White Mantle aren't really defeated. Those that are, well, the ones that died are defeated, but the White Mantle are being absorbed into the Seraph. It's a very noble thing of Salma to do, but she respected they were being brainwashed, and she's kind of moving them into the Seraph. Might seem like a risky move, yeah, I'd agree with that. But also, you know, we do see that the Seraph end up as a very successful, popular organisation over the next 250 years. So, you know, she must have done something right there. You got Sergio here. "At long last, Kryta is free from the White Mantle and their deranged puppet masters. Once we've had a chance to assess our losses, the Lion Guard will be in need of worthy recruits to bolster our numbers. We're responsible for the safety of Lion's Arch, after all. Say, you're not looking for a new job, are you? That'd be cool if you could choose to pick up the job. No, don't worry about it, man. Lion Guard, Figo, we have things to do in other areas of the world." Figo says, "Now that things are settling back to normal, foreign ships will once again visit our shores, I hope." Yeah, don't forget about the Morrow article that said that all the ships and trade were stopping. "Welcome to Lion's Arch, a free city once more." Who else have we got? Oh, there's so many people to speak to. I know there's... here we go. So these guys speak. This is going to set up the next chapter, Hearts of the North. So Lawrence Crafton says, "Captain Greywind." So Greywind, remember, he ran off with Thackeray and Langmar. He says, "Are you alright? You're bleeding. What happened to the settlers? They weren't in the fight." "Oh yeah. Remember this?" I'm fine. It's nothing serious. We had to divert east through Scoundrel's Rise and enter through Lion's Gate to avoid the White Mantle army." I love how they mention Lion's Gate as well, something that really is taking such a backseat in the storyline. "Did everyone make it here safely? Where are the captain and Lieutenant Thackeray?" "Oh yeah, what about all this, guys? What happened? We found the missing family and escorted them here safely, but Langmar and Thackeray stayed back to buy us time to escape. The last I saw them, they were leading the White Mantle army away from us. Have they not arrived here yet?" "So they're not here? Where are they?" "No, we haven't seen them." "Shit, son. What's going on?" No, we expected them to come in with you. You said they stayed behind to divert the White Mantle army? Just the two of them?" Pretty ballsy. "Yes," he simply says. You just left them there? What in Balthazar's blazes were you thinking? Got to agree with Diane there. Come on, they were important. They're the lead. One of them is the leader of the vanguard. Fine, they helped out in Kryta, but Ascalon's got his own problems. He was thinking about the people of their settlement, Diane. He's the leader. He's their leader and needs to survive if they're going to rebuild. I'm sure Captain Langmar realised this as well and sent him ahead for that reason. Yeah, I can understand why Greywind should have left instead of staying with the other two, but I don't think any of them should have stayed. You know your captain well. That's what she told me when I protested her decision. Was I just referring to Langmar as a man? I didn't mean to be if I was. But that means, no, they couldn't have been. Stop. Don't even finish that sentence. If there's anyone who could have survived those odds, it's Langmar and Thackeray. Instead of worrying about what might have happened, we should be putting together a search party. Oh, what does this mean for the Vanguard? Yes, put together a search party. Come on. Coro's right. We'll split up and cover the path that they could have taken to Lion's Arch. Nola and Diane, you two should head out of the Lion's Gate and work your way back west towards the settlement, retracing Captain Greywind's steps. Rigo and I... Rigo, get over here. Yes, Sergeant? Rigo, you and I will head through North Kryta province to see if we can find them along that path. Koro, you stay here and treat Captain Greywind's wounds. Then see if you can get the Queen to lend us some strong swimmers to search the Lesser Giant's Basin. I love this as well. Like the basins, we've known about them, but they've never really taken a part of the story ever. But here, like, they actually talk about swimming around in the basin. I think that's so cool. You don't think that they drowned? Until they turn up, anything's possible. We must search the water as well as the land. I think that's so cool. I remember when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh, does this mean the next chapter we're going to be checking sort of the other shores of the basins? Are we going to be able to go around there? Turns out you don't, so don't get your hopes up, guys. But I think it's cool that it's in the story anyway. Until they turn up, anything's possible. I will join you in the search. This is my responsibility too, says Greywind. But, says Lawrence, I won't take no for an answer, Sergeant. You're not going to defy a superior's orders, are you? No, sir, and thank you, but let Koro treat you first. Yeah, Greywind, you barely got away. You're wounded, man. You're wounded. You'd better still be alive out there, Captain, says Diane. Yeah, we wouldn't want anything to happen to the Vanguard. Lieutenant Thackeray, says Nola in thought. So, yeah, very worrying. What's happened? So those two have left. There you go. This is basically what is going to begin Hearts of the North. You might be thinking, Hearts of the North? What relevance has that got? Thackeray is missing. What about Gwen as well? Okay, so that is what the next chapter of Guild Wars Beyond is going to be about. And it's it's a chapter that actually requires you to have finished the War in Kryta to begin. So that's what the future videos will be about once we finish this section. But we do have some stuff to look at first. So Diane Fermanti, what do these guys have to say? Damn it, they better be alive, or I'm gonna need a keg of Dwarven Ale after all this. I won't cry. I don't want to be alone again. Please let them be alright. Don't worry. Until we find the lieutenant, I'm the highest ranking officer in the Falcons. I never thought I could dislike a promotion this much. Yeah, I didn't like leaving them behind to distract the Mantle Army, but Ascalonian soldiers are survivors first and foremost. I'm sure they'll turn up. I love that as well. Yeah, they are survivors. Look at what the Char have been doing to them, and yet they're still hanging in there over at Ascalon. Cairo, we can worry later. If you have time to worry, then you have time to search for Langmar and Thackeray. Nice little thought there, I suppose. That works out. Rigo says, we can chat all you want after we find the captain and the lieutenant. Now is not the time. So we've got 3 kids here. Anne Pace, these guys are from Ascalon. They're wearing like the Ascalonian clothes. I hope we can go home soon. Mr. Greywind wouldn't let me go back for my doll earlier. Oh, this is the family. These are the Pacers, I see. These are from the settlement. Those other 2 soldiers stayed behind to give us time to escape. I pray they make it back safely. Yeah, you're not worth their life. I'm going to say it, you're not worth their lives. He says, we were attacked by some Murgoyles on our way back to Lion's Arch. Thank goodness Greywind was there to protect us. Murgoyles? Murgoyles? Come on, they're pathetic. What? If they died because you couldn't fight off some Murgoyles, I will seriously be pissed off with you. Okay, so we're going to come down here. There is another little bit of dialogue. Try and shift out of that gear there. I know it kind of throws it at you. We'll be able to go back into that, though, soon enough. We got some guys dancing and celebrating. How can you celebrate when this is going on? The business of rebuilding an entire nation is profitable. I look forward to being heavily involved in the effort. Okay. Bogus the outfitter says that. Benji, Makala, these are obviously NPCs from around Lion's Arch. My brother has decided to taking over managing the offerings to the Shrine of Melandru. He wants to make amends for siding with the Mantle. I think our neighbours in Hakewood will forgive him in time. What I love about this dialogue here is in the manuscripts when you're sort of hearing about the gods and different things about the gods, they talk about how at Shrines of Melandru, which you see a lot of time in in-game, right? Like the red shrines of Melandru. They talk about how people always leave offerings to weary travellers and stuff, but that's never actually represented in-game, ever. But finally, like with this one bit of dialogue, they actually do recognise that that's like canon lore. I think that's so cool that they actually put that in there somewhere. That's really awesome. Armen the guide says, I wonder if Queen Salma would let me run tours of the throne room. I would love to go on a tour of the throne room. I want to go inside one of those. Hit me up, man, if you manage to get that to happen. Farmer Dirk says, I hope those mantle didn't do anything to my precious prize-winning hog. Hasn't that hog gone through enough troubles already? Yeah, he probably has. We got some other guys here. Elder Rabne, who says, my brave friend, we Krytans owe you a great debt of honour. You have earned my respect and the appreciation of the Krytan people. Yosef says, Huzzah, long live Queen Salma, death to the White Mantle and their unseen demons. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I knew you guys would win in the end. I was just keeping a low profile. Yeah, that's it. I'm not sure what he's referencing there. What was Layman Yosef doing? Can't quite remember. I do recognise the name. Farmer Fanella, who says, they say the White Mantle are gone, but how do I know the unseen ones aren't still watching me? Very good question. How do you know? And I guess that's kind of what we're going to be thinking come Guild Wars 2. What is going on there? We got Zin, Blim here. You're right, guys. I'm sorry you were rushed, and I'm sorry that what you ended up building was a bit disappointing, but hey, okay. So Blim says, have I told you about the time I did not receive a piece of Asura cake? This time I will be sure to get some cake, even if it is Booker cake. Wow, Booker cake sounds delicious. They told me I would receive a piece. You don't think that the cake is a lie, do you? If it's a lie again, I'll burn it all down. Okay, so that's Blim obviously referencing the cake is a lie from Portal, that meme. You got Zin over here. Another successful experiment, if I do say so myself. Not that I was expecting otherwise. I'm not called the Zinsational Zin for nothing. He was actually referenced as the Sensational Sin during his trial. Now that this is out of the way, I can start planning my revenge against those fools on the Arcane Council. Alright, well, just don't threaten the world with giant golems again, will ya? Here's GOX, you're right, GOX, he says, we won, I helped, praise me, praise me! Okay, I'm still not sure about my voice for him. We've got a ring of people here. Many things delayed our victory, but we persevered, and in the end, Kryta is free again. Many brave women who gave their lives today, so that Kryta can live free from the persecution of the White Mantle and their unseen gods. Their sacrifice shall not be in vain. We shall make Kryta a beacon of hope for all of mankind. I added quite a few trophies to my collection today. It was an honour to fight alongside you, Peter Redhill. Say, I was going to head out first thing in the morning to chase down those retreating remnants of the White Mantle. If you think you can keep up, you should come along. Yeah, please don't have any more remnants. The only reason they're around is because of the remnants at the end of prophecies. I mean, Jesus, just finish them all off. Sorim here, he says, the recruits didn't let me down. I knew if they remembered their training and watched each other's backs, we would be victorious. I can't help but feel responsible for those who fell on the battlefield, though. It never gets easier. Yeah, I guess not. I suppose a few people did have to die. You know, they didn't actually write any of the named NPCs out of the story in War in Kryta, so it does become a little bit hard to see the sacrifice that people have made. But do try and bear that in mind. At least I try and bear that in mind. There were people who died. Master Scout Shelby. Kryta is free thanks to you and all the brave men and women who fought and bled on the battlefield this day. Today marks the first day in Kryta's golden age. Mark my words. Scout Melathoran. It was an honour to fight by your side with everything that's been done. I think our companions who died at the Henge of Den Ravi can finally be at peace. I love that as well, tying it back into the Henge of Den Ravi. It's brilliant. Courier Falcon. Okay, so he says, now that's what I call an epic final battle. My courier's passion was reignited by watching you fight out there. Seeing a foreign hero like you fight for our country has inspired me to think about what I can do beyond just being a courier. I'm thinking about starting up a unified organisation to deliver messages between countries. By keeping everyone informed, we could prevent groups like the White Mantle from deceiving us in the future. And after all that's done, maybe I'll go adventuring up north. I hear there's a dwarf up there who loves fist fighting as much as I do. Yeah, his name's Kilroy, and I'm sure you'd love him. Obviously, what they're referencing there is Courier Falcon, the mini quests where he just charges headlong into hundreds and hundreds of enemies. And in Eye of the North, you can play in little mini quests with Kilroy where he does exactly the same thing, which is pretty awesome. Courier Falcon's not actually out of the storyline right at the moment. I know I didn't do any of like his mini missions. He's not out of the storyline. We will be seeing him in future chapters of Guild Wars Beyond, so do check him out. Do remember him. You've got Gareth Quickblade here, another guy from the jungle. With the war over, there's no need for me to rush to train volunteers and farmhands to fight. From now on, I can take my time training the new Queen's army, the Seraph. We won't be calling ourselves the Lion Guard or the Shining Blade or even the White Mantle. The Queen has decided to call our new unit the Seraph. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Blade Operative Paulina says, we are the Blade Kryta, and today we pierce the heart of the White Mantle. Their army is crushed, their leaders slain, and their gods banished from our world for once and for all. Today is the day of celebration. Well, not for once and for all, we'll see. But do celebrate. Shadow. Kryta is free from the shackles of tyranny at last. I like how these guys look exactly the same. I know in my heart that Salma will be a fair and kind ruler, and she has the strength necessary to lift Kryta out of these dark times, which indeed she does do. And we already spoke to Snakebite, didn't we? Oh no, you see all that strategy, all those boring meetings, and in the end the whole thing decided by a good old-fashioned brawl. Just the way I like it. I would be honoured to fight alongside you at any time, my friend. Saphir, now that the fiend Torimo is dead, I've finally avenged the death of my parents. But I can't celebrate this victory until they've had a proper burial. I think that I might quit the Shining Blade to go back to Lomehurst. I think is what they would have wanted. Yeah, go for it. Is that everyone? Many things delayed our victory, but we persevered in the end. Kryta is free again. Yeah, okay, alright, that's all of it. Alright, there's one last bit. These 3 old men. The 3 old men have one more little bit of dialogue for us, one final event. Let's see what they have to say. You right, guys? They say, well, I guess that's the end of the White Mantle. I was expecting a little more fight out of them myself. Yeah, I can kind of see what your point there. It was originally a lot harder. See, this is, I suppose, a funny line because it was so hard when it originally came out. He says, ha! These young'uns call this a final battle? Back in my day, we didn't have these newfangled Asuran magics to protect us from spectral agony. We just had to tough it out. Kids these days don't know how good they've got it. Oh, yeah, like the infusion. Well, I suppose does the infusion affect your allies? In that case, I suppose it's a bit helpful. Jorov says, and this is quite cool what they say here, I remember the days you had to walk 15 miles uphill on the Shiver Peaks, then kill a spectral abomination just to get one piece of armor infused, and we liked it that way. What he's referencing here obviously is the mission where you get your armor infused, but it's actually quite cool. He mentions here just to get one piece of armor infused at launch. When the game first came out, that's how that functioned. You could only have one piece of armor infused at a time, which was really cool. That explains why, depending on how many pieces of armor you've got equipped that are infused, spectral agony does varying levels of damage to you. It was like, how bothered could you be to keep getting more and more pieces infused? Eventually they removed it because they realised it was needless grind. But I think it's really cool that they finally came back and referenced that right here, which is really, really awesome. Carden says, that's nothing. You wouldn't be sitting here if me and my 2 buddies hadn't killed the Lich Lord twice while he was on the Bloodstone. Obviously they're referencing killing him twice, as we did. And we did it without the help from any fancy pants heroes. Have you got mud for brains? That was us. No, it was us, guys. But there you go. So those are the old men. Funny as ever. And that's the end of the dialogue. My throat is so sore. Guys, that's the end of the dialogue, except for obviously getting the quest reward up here from Queen Salma, who says, and yeah, don't forget, Livia, she's got this dialogue for us, okay? We will be seeing this at the start of the next episode where I talk about something else, which hopefully some of you have remembered, but is really, really interesting. So yeah. So Salma says, oh, she's actually got 2 things for us? Okay, so she says, oh yeah, the reward for the overarching quest that was added at a later date. She says, this day is a momentous one. I'm glad you were a part of all of this. We could not have done any of this without you. Well, really? They just say this 3 times in a row? No, they said it twice in a row. Okay, so you've got the Battle for Lion's Arch. Let's get the reward. Victory is ours, she says. Really, is that it? Okay. Reward, 30,000 experience, 5,000 gold, 5 royal gifts, and 3 medals of honor. And the other quest reward is the overarching quest, which you could get from Murrow himself. Actually, isn't Murrow in this area? I'm sure Murrow was around in this area somewhere. I thought he was. I know you can speak to him somewhere in game, or maybe he's only in regular Lion's Arch. But yeah, you can accept the quest reward for the overarching quest, which was added at a later date. The war in Kryta is finally over. Thank you for your help, brave adventurer. We will now turn our efforts to maintaining the peace we have won. And you can accept that. So there you go. That's the end of the war in Kryta, guys. There's no time. I actually thought there was a timer when you spoke to Salma that kicked you out, but apparently not. That's all of the war in Kryta. Now, don't think of this as a complete final episode. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at... I'm going to zone into Lion's Arch here. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at another loose end of the storyline, and we're going to be speaking to Gwen up at the Hall of Monuments about Thackeray and Langmar being missing. And we're going to start, essentially, it's going to quite smoothly transition into the Hearts of the North. The only reason you'll know that we're in a different chapter, so to speak, is that I'm just going to start titling the videos differently. They're going to be called Hearts of the North instead of War in Kryta. And that's basically going to be it, really, and we're going to just slip straight into the Hearts of the North. Next episode, though, will definitely be about picking up that loose end. I'm going to be looking at another loose end that's going on to do with Livia's dialogue just there, which we skipped over for the moment. And we're also going to be looking at the rewards for the war in Kryta. My throat's too sore to keep going on at the moment. It's been an hour, 17 minutes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the war in Kryta, and I will see you tomorrow for the conclusion. But there you go. That's how it all ends. That's how the Seraph forms. That is how Kryta becomes a free nation once again. I will see you guys tomorrow.